Hello, and welcome to the Ink Panels Graphic Novel Book Club, episode 19. Jen had to cancel last minute. She was rearranging her bookshelves. If you have watched her Instagram stories today where she was lively making punches in the air, well, they broke her. Literally.
Oh,
she's laying on the floor with no pillows under her, looking up at her bookcase because she hurt her back. So streaming was going to be impossible, and Gambit has been in a war with trolls for the past couple of minutes, and he is running late. It's one of those days, I guess. Like, it's just already starting interesting. So we have Victoria, Read Across the Stars, who this is her second appearance on the channel. The last one was the drinking episode, and she kind of got drowned out. And kind of observing how bad streaming is. How to have a bad show.
It was fun though, but it was hectic for sure, which was nice.
Jen is here.
Yay! Please don't be broken forever though. Comics broke me.
I hope not, because we're supposed to be on John's Comics with Kids tomorrow, talking about Ten of Swords. And Gambit is now here.
Hey!
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my headphones again.
We were just talking.
Jen
Jen fought her bookcase and lost. She hurt her back rearranging them.
Excuse me. Ah!
Was she trying to put up the stabilizer things? Is that what you were doing, Jen?
Comics will break your back. That is your sub account where it's just memes. I'm not gonna lie.
That's your OnlyFans.
I did post Batman getting his back broken by Bane, and then put Jen's bookcase versus Jen. So I'm funny, sort of.
There was an attempt at being funny. We'll leave it up to Jen.
Like, she has a sense of humor about it. I was like, "Hey, you're supposed to lift with your knees, not with your back," and she was like, "Thanks. You could have told me that an hour ago."
Too late with the mansplaining there. Fuck.
That's not mansplaining. That's just.
I know. I'm just winding you up. He's back! Yay!
Put 2 stabilizers on each one. You need to put 2 on your back now, Jen.
Oh God!
So, like, I reorganized my long boxes 2 years ago, and I hurt my back reorganizing them and building the comic houses. And I did not have a good time with it, where I was laying on the floor, and then I told her, like, one day I was laying in front of my big DVD shelving, and I was like, I am scared, even though I have stabilizers on it, that it will fall on me, and I don't want, like, my obituary to be dead from physical media.
The plaster on the wall behind my bookcase is, like, super shit, so even though I have the stabilizers in, it'll take, like, one good shake, and I'll just fucking...
My friend got these legs that he actually, like, drilled into the sides of them so that way it wouldn't rock. So it had it on both sides. So, like, if it rocked even a little bit, and put legs on them. Yeah. Like, but he's industrious. He's industrious and builds shit. And even though I work at a store where, like, you can build shit, I'm not that dude.
I really want Brendan to just, like, build the shelves in so they're, like, built into the walls. But so far I haven't convinced him to do it for me. So rude. Very rude and hurtful, honestly. How am I supposed to fit more of them in? I don't know.
I can barely hear you guys. My headphones are not working. My microphone is not working. I don't know why.
I can hear you.
Yeah. I had to disconnect both set of headphones are not working. So I don't know.
Do you have earbuds just to put in so it's not miking, and you can just listen on that?
No. It says that it's connected for audio and calls and everything, but it's not. None of the headsets are working. So
that's really weird. Okay, then.
I mean, it's what I need to finish the day. So sorry, guys. I'm not having a good day.
I know the feeling. Not having a great week, but here we are.
Here we are. Let's do this.
So, All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison, Frank Whiteley. I wanted to pick a feel-good book to end the year with. It's been a shit year. And when we had Steve Orlando on, he talked about how the Grant Morrison run on X-Men, how people hadn't really caught up to Frank Quitely's art.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it, we're doing it now. Like, that's decided. It was between this and Superman for All Seasons, which is another tearjerker.
Yes.
Don't tell me that. God.
It is.
Not me crying over Superman, Jesus.
Different types of tear jerking. So the weird backstory in this, which I learned from watching Grant Morrison's documentary that they put out, the whole thing's on YouTube. It is called Talking with Gods. And in it, Grant came up with this story because at San Diego Comic-Con, Grant saw a cosplayer as Superman and was like, oh, that looks how I imagine Superman is in my head. I'm going to sit down and talk to him for 3 hours. And from that discussion, decided, well, this is my idea of Superman.
Oh, did I know that?
Because of this discussion, he came up with this, and having Frank Quitely doing the art, because if anybody's going to have a chin like that, it's going to be Superman. And Frank Quitely draws a chin like no one else.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You can see it really like in this.
Very much just from the cover. And
The chin.
this is one of those weird books where the story crosses over through the 12 issues, but you could read each one like its own story almost, because each one is like a different feat. And Superman like fights the sun at the beginning, like does a saving the sun. Like there are so many moments in this that is just so incredible. And Quitely's art, I know there are people who hate it. It fits this story. It's just the weirdness of Morrison and then this kind of abstract art style with it.
It's really like zany almost. Like the story is really quite out there, especially if you compare it to what came out for like New 52 and what Bendis has been doing, obviously. So like that, and with the art, it makes it like a really like bright, fun story to read at the end of the year. Like, as you said, like a feel-good note, but then it's also got like the heavy-hitting moments in there as well.
It is emo as fuck, and I forgot about it because there's a part I'm reading and I'm like, don't do it. Don't cry. Like, don't.
Where's the tissues? Ah! Yeah.
Was this your first time reading it, V?
Yeah, I hadn't read it before, and I haven't read like heaps of Superman. I think the last Superman book I read this year was Injustice, and so this was a really weird contrast to reading Injustice, obviously, because this is like very Superman being Superman, and Injustice, he's a raging asshole. So it was a really good contrast, but it was super weird. So I'm really glad. I actually messaged my local shop to see if he had like the big trade of it, because this is the library copy, and he said he didn't, but he's got all the single issues, so I'm probably going to get those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the trade because I didn't want to reread their single issues.
Same here. I was like, I guess I'll spend the $30 and get the trade.
Yeah, 100%.
Lex Luthor in this, I thought, was a very good depiction of how he's prejudiced. Like, it's like Superman stopped me from doing all these great things. It's like, no, really, he didn't. You stopped yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a good way to write the character and like a good insight into like a perspective of Lex Luthor, because, you know, like often you just get like the one-dimensional villain sort of thing, but it's like monologuing in the prison.
Yes.
So fucking hilarious. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna punch him through the page. Jesus, shut the fuck up.
And like this like is Frank Quitely in like a nutshell of like his kind of abstract art with the eyes and how it's depicted in the first couple of pages. His art style is so distinct. The minute you like open it, you're like, I know exactly who that artist is.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie, it's the reason I picked up, well, not the reason, that was the second reason I picked up Jupiter's
Yes.
Jupiter's Circle, was it? Or Jupiter's
Circle, Jupiter's Ascending, Jupiter Legacy.
Jupiter's Legacy, I think it was.
Jupiter Ascending was that horrible movie with
yes.
Mila Kunis.
Yeah, Mila Kunis was in it too. they were like, even the first issue, you're like dragged right into this like, fuck, there's like just giant set piece moments where like Superman's got to like fly through the sun and save these people.
Just to start with.
Yeah, that you start with that, and it's like, oh, by the way, you supercharged your cells and they're blowing up.
Yeah. You know, I started watching the movie, and I didn't finish it, right? Because we had to, it was just earlier today. But all the way up to the point where I stopped, because it's been a while and I don't remember the movie. It's almost, it's very faithful to the book. It's pretty on point all the way up to the jail scene. That's where I stopped watching it. It's almost identical. Like what's in the movie, it's straight out of the comic.
He messaged me. She goes, "Are they killing Clark? Like, what's going on? Is he dying?"
I was like 3 pages in, and I was like, "Hell no! Are we really doing this?"
And I do love his thoughts on mortality, where he's like, "I can't tell anybody. I need to suffer with this and do it in my own time."
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gambit.
Oh, so when I first learned about All-Star Superman was through the Wizard magazine. They posted an article when they announced that they're going to launch this All-Star line, you know, and they had planned this one, and then it was going to be Jim Lee and Frank Miller. And I'm like, oh my god! So I first saw those sketches that Frank quietly put use, you know, for promotional purpose on that article in the Wizard, and I was blown away by. I think that was the first time that I saw Frank Quietly's work, and I was like, "Oh man, I like it. I like
the Morrison X-Men, because that was my first introduction to him.
No, when I read Morrison's X-Men later. When I read Morrison, X-Men years later. So I was like, "Oh, I like it," and he talks about the reasoning that why he chose to do a short cape for Superman, and I can't remember right now what was his reasoning, but I remember reading about that, making that decision, reaching a short cape, and that was one of the things I was like, oh, I need to pick this up. I need to read this, you know. And at the time, I wasn't too familiar with Morrison's work either. I know who Morrison was, and I knew that my friends were, you know, I have a friend that he was like, oh, dude, Morrison is really fucking cool, but it wasn't what I was reading at the time. So I think I have read something before, but I am not sure. So this might have been my first Morrison book too, you know. And I remember this is one of those books that I picked it up at the comic book store, and then I would walk to the food court and I sit with my friends and we would read those that he would read. I don't remember what he was reading at the time, but I remember that was the first thing that I would read. I was like, I need to read this before I get home, you know. Like,
what Gore said here, Frank Quietly's art style was influenced by Jeff Darrow, and I never really put that together.
Yes, it's kind of obvious. Sorry, I mean, but
I haven't read much of Jeff Darrow's stuff. Like, I remember Hard Boiled very much so.
Yeah. Jeff Darrow, I really like his work, and you can see the influence on Quietly's work. One of the things that I love about Quietly so much is his ability to tell the story without the need of words. If you take this book and you take the words, all the dialogue balloons from the pages, chances are you can follow the story. But there's areas that you're gonna need to read some stuff because it's Morrison, so you need to read some stuff.
There's a heartbreaking page in this book where like the words were so important. You could do it without the words, but the words that come out of the mouth.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that in terms of the quality of his work, you know, of his storytelling, which is what I most love about comic book artists, is the ability to tell a story without using words. And any book that I'm not saying that the words are not important in this book, because they are super important, but any book that you can understand and follow without the need of dialogue balloons, you have a great storyteller in that artist. Because it's not just putting cool panels, you know, it's that those panels need need to tell that story, and quietly it's a master at giving you that sense of movement, and when you go from one panel to the other, you see that there's that visual element of the book conveys the movement and moves the story so well. And I think that's when he became one of my favorite artists. And now it's one of those things that whatever his name is, I am going to pick it up. You know, they can say it's an illustrated version of the Bible, but it's run by Frank Wiley. Son of a bitch, I mean.
I would very be much interested in seeing that now. Jesus would have a hell of a chin.
Jesus would have a hell of a chin under his beard?
Yes, it would be pronounced. Either that beard would be like flowing, like
luscious, like Pantene.
Yeah. I think Mike Alred was working on a book that was an illustrated version of the Bible, but I look into that later.
Yes.
I 100% agree with what you're saying, and I notice it really strongly when I buy those, you know, those like little size like Marvel graphic novels that they do, and they're, you know, like Miles Morales and Ms. Marvel and stuff like that. I always notice that the ones that are the best and that she and I both enjoy are the ones, she's 7, so she can't read like that well yet. The ones that she and I both love the most are the ones where she can look at it without me and she can follow the story and she knows what's happening, and then when I go and read it with her, she knows what's happening because the pictures explain it that well for her. So like 100%. And like the best one for that I think that she has is Ms. Marvel, the G. Willow Wilson one. And funnily enough, I think the artist is quite inspired by Frank Whiteley because he has that similar, I don't know, this sort of stylized way of doing his art is like quite inspired, I think. So
so at the end of issue 1, I like that they call them episodes each issue instead of issues. Clark reveals that he's Superman to Lois. In the beginning of the second issue, where she's like kind of angry, she's like, "Are you playing a game with me? Because I've been down this road before and it's been debunked." And she's like, "What about that time of the trial?" "Oh yeah, it was Batman." "Oh, it was a robot."
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, that was Batman standing in for me.
And there was this book Irredeemable we did where their version of Superman revealed who he was, and the reporter went immediately online and outed him. She was so pissed. So like the anger in her, I was like, I get it. I understand why she would be mad. And then there's just the whole game of this where she's like, what is this dude up to here? Like, is this a game? And then like he's making her birthday present.
Yeah.
And then you have the two himbos, Atlas and Samson.
Oh, God.
He wanted to punch them in the face as well.
Oh,
It was so frustrating.
So when I was reading that part, I was like, the first time I was like, oh, this is really cool. Now I read it again, right? And I was like, oh man, are you kidding me? Because this is the only the second time I've read it. And I was like, oh man, I forgot about this. And I forgot how that sequence of events play out. And for a second there, I was like, man, they gave Louis superpowers for nothing, you know? And, yeah. But you know, what I'm trying to say is that it gets to the point in the conversation when she's like, yeah, fuck it, let's do this, you know? She's like, at first I thought she was being, you know, she's being written like a damsel in distress sort of thing. But she was like, no, let's see what happens. It's pretty cool, you know? She kind of like digs the attention that she's getting from Atlas and Samsung at the same time, which when you think about it, you have the 3 most powerful men in the universe right then and there. Now, not 3 of them, because Superman is like, she's with me, guys, you know? And
I did like the attitude he's giving. She's like, oh, and look who it is. Oh, I knew Day was going to be good. He goes, just what I need. Yo, Superman. He goes, Samson.
So I like how that played out. And although we didn't get to see Louis do much with the 24 hours of the powers, the truth is that we would have seen just a few action panels of her saving people, which it would have been cool. But let's be honest, he wouldn't be doing anything different that we see Superman do all the time, you know. So
No.
So,
and they brought the Ultra
I thought
Sphinx.
that was pretty cool. What was that, Dan?
They brought the Ultra Sphinx. We're like, oh yeah, like we kind of knew we stole this, and well, we can't answer this, so there you go. You deal with it.
Classic himbos, eh? They were like, oops.
Like Superman would deal with it. You know, one of the things that I know that I really like about it is that when it's every time he's Clark Kent, which is this is the other thing that I think that quietly, brilliantly portrayed. You know, like where he shows that he's a master of what he does. You know, it's when he's drawing Clark Kent, he makes sure that Clark Kent looks different than Superman, which you don't often see that. You
Slumps
often
the shoulders.
Yeah, but he makes
rounds the face a little bit.
So he reading, you know, his logic is that he's a big dude that used to open space in a farm in Kansas, and now he's in a building, you know, with cubicles, and he can't help but hit things because he's like so big, and you know, and he plays it so well that every time he does something dumb, he fumbles, he stumbles, whatever, he managed to be saving someone, you know, like when he saved Lex Luthor, when he saved the old man that they're crossing the street, and it's to let you know that Superman is always Superman, even when he is being even when he's being Clark Kent, he's still Superman, and he doesn't break character, but he cannot not save someone. He cannot just let someone get in trouble because it'll risk Clark Kent being exposed as Superman. Yes, exactly. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
There is a great use of the shadows and contrast when the two himbos are like, look at that. The mighty Man of Steel, a coward. Even the S on his back is yellow. And he turns around. He's like, all right, that's enough. Both of you. And it's like the close up on the face. And he's just like, gets real serious. And then he's arm wrestling both of them and just like, oh, yawn.
So what I like about that, sorry, what I like about that is that you can talk all the shit you want to talk about Superman, but the moment you talk about the S shield, you know, the moment that you talk about his lineage, where he comes from, he like, okay, that's it. You know, he's like letting the bullies be bullies until he's had enough of them. He's like, you know what, I don't have to stand up. You know, I don't have to take this. You know.
He's Marty McFly in Back to the Future. As soon as you call him chicken, it's like, what?
Dude, I never understood why using chicken as a term of cowardice. Have you ever encountered a chicken in the wild? How they will run after you and try to kill you? Chickens are not cowards. I don't know why.
They will claw you and pick you. It's not a fun time.
A chicken will kill you any chance it gets. It will try to kill you.
The Jimmy Olsen episode 3, I was not kind of
It was so mental, like,
yeah.
just like, are we really? I don't know. I thought it contrasted kind of nicely though and broke it up a little bit, but then it kind of felt a little bit fillery.
It was Morrison going, I have a fucking nutty story with Jimmy Olsen, so let's just like do this before we get to the heavy stuff.
Yes.
Just going back to what Gambit said before, I just wanted to point out, like, this panel of Clark looking like mega intense, and this one, like, he looks really dopey.
Yes, it's totally Christopher Reeve from the original Superman, where he did the slumped shoulders and kind of like had his head held low.
Yeah,
and when you see it, you believe that those are two different people. He makes it so that you can be like, man, that can be Superman. It's impossible that idiot is Superman. You know, one of the other things that I really like is going back to the previous episode is that he has a sun eater as a pet. You know, he's taking he rescue a sun eater like I would rescue a cat from the streets.
Sorry.
I have a sun eater here. What? And what do you feed him? Well, suns, because I have a cosmic anvil and I can make suns for it.
Come on, Lois. Duh.
This Lex art of the face.
Yes. Yeah. The eyebrow. Oh my god.
Oh. His niece, which is like eyebrow Lex. He's penciling it on.
And he goes like,
eyebrow Lex. Eyebrow.
And they sort of Attila the Hun, Genghis Khan, Al Capone, Adolf Hitler. These are your heroes.
The
Yes,
eyebrow.
the eyebrow.
So back to arm wrestling the two dudes with at the same time.
Oh, that's some alpha male shit.
No, that's that's like,
Lois Lane just laying there getting a suntan, like
that is
no big deal.
legit, literally Superman flexing. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I'm
Lois
done
is
with you
just
guys.
like, oh, why am I here watching this shit? Like, although she's probably like, these dudes are arm wrestling over me. It's so kind of shitty.
But
I
yeah,
kind of got the vibe that she was like, "It's my birthday." Like,
Oh, 100%.
exactly. It's like that, and that's what I like about this loose lane. She got at some point she got paranoid, and she had no trouble in getting a kryptonite gun and empty it on Superman, like you know. But at the same time, she is enjoying being courted by these three powerful men, you know,
And she's got these powers, and she's like an alpha woman at that point.
She doesn't need them, you know, especially at that point where she has that power. But she's enjoying it, you know, and she's enjoying that the man that she's with is showing, being manly for her, not because she can't take care of herself. It's just because.
And she's still annoyed. She still makes comments about, is this still a game? Like, what is? Are you really Clark, or what is this?
Can we also say hi to my friend Abby, who's in the chat? She just said that Alexa's face was terrifying.
Yes, we can say hi to anyone.
And literally, there is only one other series where I thought Lex was portrayed like brilliant. It was Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo. It was called Lex Luthor, Man of Steel.
Oh, yes.
And the interiors were done by Lee Bermejo, but in it, they go full into the xenophobia of Lex, where he's, again, going, I could have been so many things, but because of you, you're the one person I have to look up to because you can fly. And it just, when it gets down to like the mentality of why Lex won't use his stuff for good, I'm intrigued by it, because the mentality of why he can't stand this one fucking person because he's superior to him.
Because he's better than him, you know? It's like there's no way that someone can be better than him, and that shit irritates the shit out of him.
Very much so. Give me 1 second. I gotta run and get a towel.
Yeah.
No, did you spill your drink again?
Of course.
It's every episode, right? It's like it's honorary.
There's no show if he doesn't drink he doesn't fill his drink at least once, you know.
Oh God! I decided I have to drink my drink from a straw every show, so
nice.
We've all got our things.
I'm drinking water today.
Healthy. I've still got a long day after I do this. So.
I have to be healthy. Damn it.
Healthy choices. That'll be me tomorrow because it's New Year's Eve here at the moment. So.
Oh, that's right. You're in the future.
Talk
to us about 2021.
I'll show you tomorrow.
The streak is still alive.
2021 was saved because my friend did send me a picture of Pedro Pascal with a Sailor Moon wand. So.
Oh yes, I saw that picture the other day. I think it was this morning, not the other day.
My favorite character
so
from Game of Thrones. The Red Viper from Game of Thrones that he played. So good in that role.
Yeah, he's amazing. I love him. He's so... We won't go there. We'll move on back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Don't make me talk about Wonder Woman.
We won't.
It's okay.
Although, Pedro Pascal must have a sore back. He must have a really sore back. I'm carrying that.
So
for 2.5 hours.
We are on what issue are we? We're the issue of
5. I think it's the Lex Luthor issue. Episode 5. The Gospel according.
We're on 5. I'm still on Jimmy Olsen. I think that Jimmy Olsen episode was good because it remember that he is Superman's pal, and they show you how Superman starts treating him. You have to immediately get that he is not being himself, you know. And the best way to portray that is to him be an asshole to Jimmy Olsen, you know. It's like, if it wasn't for me, and and you will be dead so many times, And I like how they turn him into Doomsday,
Yeah.
to fight him. It's like, that was a clever way to do this.
Yeah, I thought it was really clever.
Now
That's why I'm kind of like, even though it felt a little bit fillery at some panels, it was good overall because it was obviously clever still. So
I think it helps move the story, and at the end of that issue, it shows you that even after all that, Jimmy still respects Superman and understands that what Superman was saying was the effects of the kryptonite, because at the end, the first thing he says to the dudes that come in is like, don't let anyone see him like this. He's worried about the image of Superman at that moment. It's like, no. And they're like, oh no, we just wanted to give you some tickets. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And
it was funny. It was funny as well, like, as you say that, and Jimmy's like, don't let anyone see Superman like this. But everyone's assumption was that Jimmy was the bad guy, like Jimmy as Doomsday was the bad guy and Superman was still the hero. Like, nobody would ever have thought. So
I thought about you with the Lex Luthor episode, the robot he creates that reads all the literary books to him. Which also is a supersonic drill at the right tone.
I mean, if I could make a robot that would read everything for me, I enjoy reading, but I also need to work, so it'll be cool to have this thing reading that already happens.
This issue in particular, I think the genius of Frank Quietly really comes out with the way he draws and portrays Clark Kent in here, where he's constantly being called a big oaf.
Yeah. I really like the little Clark Kent right here. He looks like, this way. He looks like the dude that played him in Smallville.
Oh, Tom Welling?
Yeah, looks like him there. Very cute.
On that Lex Luthor page, my favorite panel is when Lex drops the weights on the floor, and he has to act like he's like, oh, and he has to stumble on up with all the other weights, and be like, oh,
I also like Lex going, come on, touch my arm. Feel a real muscle.
He's like, touch it.
He's still touching me. Stop. Like, it's just so the Lex mentality of, listen, I made myself. I'm better. This alien just came here and just got everything handed to him. This is real muscle. I did this.
Do you think we can call Lex a himbo because he's wearing these like little tiny shorts?
Yeah, he's wearing short shorts.
Like, rock those legs. Show us those muscles.
He's wearing short shorts, and he has a nice body too. He's just an asshole.
He's portraying himself as the king of the prison. He's like, I've been in the prison longer than I've been anywhere else because of that alien.
Because of
that. It's all Superman's fault.
Superman saves him not once, not twice, but 3 times during this whole thing. And we get to meet my favorite side character of this entire book. Nasty, his niece.
It's just so funny. Like, I don't know. See, this is why this book was so fun, because it's just so absurd. At some points, you're like, this is like comic books.
Penciling his eyebrow, like the crooked eyebrow. She's like, eyebrow, Lexi. He's like, oh, hold on.
It's just horrifying at some points and like hilarious.
It's unbelievably hilarious. And I do like, are you insane? I'm a born dictator. He's like, you'll die like a mad dog in the yard. Think straight, Lex. He's like, did you just see that? Nope, I'm blind without my glasses. Right, damn straight. And then like the river sticks. Same.
His face.
Yep.
It's a little child. He's basically like a child. Like, I'm going home and I don't like it. Because Lex knows that Superman's dying because he set it up. This next episode 6, I'm not gonna lie, this is a tough issue.
Yes.
Crypto.
Oh yeah, Crypto. I love the moment with him and his dad just sitting there talking, and then Crypto lands on Earth. And he's like, go ahead, boys. Yes, he's throwing a tree. They're flying through space. And he starts having discomfort in his chest, Grandpa Kent. or Pa Kent. And I will say this, I will die on this hill. Why Zack Snyder decided to have Pa Kent die by a fucking tornado instead of a heart attack, because Superman easily could have stopped and saved the dog and the father. No, don't do it. Like, go fuck yourself. The heart attack, like 100%, he can't stop that. There's nothing he can do about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. That was one of the few things that I didn't like of Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel. I love that movie. Don't get me wrong. I love that movie.
The beginning stuff on Krypton, I could have watched the entire movie.
So
Fight. I'm ready.
All right, Jen.
So, the one thing that I didn't like about that movie, the one of the things that I didn't like about that movie was that the way Pa Kent died, that I feel like he was stupid. I felt like at that point, everybody in Smallville knew that the Kent kid was kind of weird, that he has been witnessed doing weird shit every once in a while, and everybody stays quiet about it because it is later implied that people in town know that the Kent kid is it's more than he seems, and maybe they're not saying that he is Superman. Maybe they didn't put two and two together, but they knew that the Kent kid was kind of weird when he was growing up. He would do things that nobody else could do. So I feel like at that point, everybody in Smallville knew that the Kent kid can do stuff. So trying to hide his identity in order to not saving his dad in order to hide his identity, I think it was stupid. I think it was stupid,
Right.
And the other thing that I didn't like was how Pa Kent basically insinuates like, you should have let those kids die.
Yeah.
It's not something Jonathan Keen would say.
And page after Superman flies off with the dog, where Pa Kent's so proud, he's like, he can fly in space now, Martha. Oh, I keep track. And he's like, everything happens for a reason. Why here? Why us? He doesn't belong on a farm. Maybe none of us do anymore. And then the dude walks up. He's like, evening, folks.
Yes, I'm here for the harvest. I like that he's playing catch with crypto in space.
This is so good. This information. Grant wrote it shortly after his father died, and in one breath, all of Superman history and possibly his father's is revisited. I did not know that, and
I did not know that.
Thank you for that information. That's fascinating. And yes, a brilliant story about mortality. 100%. Yes. This is a mortality story. Yes, weird that we're reading this during a pandemic, revisiting it, but it's a weird feel-good story. It really is. It's comfort food.
Yes.
I don't know how to put it better.
That's a good way.
It's it's like pasta, but in comic book form. Pasta's comfort food.
Something like that. One thing I noticed, and maybe it feels like maybe it's just me that gets that from the book, but it feels like it's a Silver Age book, like a 60s Superman book, where it has some that wackiness era, that weird era in the 60s, when comics were a little bit too weird sometimes, you know? So
I can see Morrison visiting that, going, this shit's weird, I need to put it in here.
Yes. So it's like I think it's, so it has that Silver Age feel to it,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels its own thing. I mean, it's obviously out of continuity, and it's not supposed. You're just supposed that the basics of Superman in order to enjoy this book, and that's one of the things I love about it. You don't need to read 20 books before this trade to enjoy it. You can enjoy it by itself, and if you don't read another Superman book again, it's cool, because it's not. Or if you haven't read a book before. Of Superman book, is not going to affect you. You'll be able to enjoy it, especially if you're familiar with these characters, and who's not familiar with Superman and these characters these days, you know?
I love that there's a fifth dimension imp that's a Superman, meaning that at some point Superman like got it on with an imp from the fifth dimension.
Or
He's
one
been
of
around.
or one of his descendants.
Yes. And Clark, when he's like, Clark and Crypto are going, all right, there's that dude. Where's the others? Okay, shush, Crypto. They'll come to us.
So here's a question. If Superman dies at the end of this book, he goes into the sun and dies into, that means that Lois Lane was already pregnant by the end of the book.
Where's the cutscene of the sex scene? Frank quietly.
DC was probably like, absolutely not. Grant, you cannot write this. We are not allowing it to happen because it'd just be porn music playing.
But I mean, it happened obviously because otherwise he wouldn't have, you know.
Well, they were cloning.
Well, no, wait. No. It's okay because when the unknown Superman takes the bandage off, it turns out that it's him. So that means that at some point that means that at some point he came back from the sun.
So these Supermen are here to take on the chronovore. It eats time.
Oh, yes.
And the most heartbreaking fucking scene where our younger Clark Kent, Superman, goes after it, and the other Superman's trying to stop him. And the unknown Superman is talking to Pa Kent. And he's like, he'll be okay, won't he, the boy? And the unknown, he goes, it all comes out right in the end. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
And then the one Superman, Cal Kent, grabs Crypto by the throat. And he's like, I tried to warn you. If you face the chronophore, it will eat a precious 3 minutes of your life. And in those 3 minutes, Jonathan Kent suffered a fatal heart attack. And that's when he's like, I can't hear his heart. And goes running, and he's like catching fire. He's flying so fast.
Yeah.
And he's screaming, I can save everybody, screaming. And we go directly to the funeral. And this has him doing the eulogy. It's Jonathan Kent taught me that the strong have to stand up for the weak, and that and that bullies don't like being bullied back. He taught me that a good heart is worth more than all the money in the bank. He taught me about life and death, and he showed me by example how to be tough and how to be kind and how to dream of a better world. Thanks, Pa. He taught me that the measure of a man lies not in what he says, but what he does. Those are lessons I'll never forget. And just the expression on the face on Clark as he's giving this eulogy, he hits it. Like, he just nails it. And then the heartbreak when he's talking to Ma on the porch and he's finally breaking down. And do
you Crypto just lying on the ground upset as well?
Yes.
Yep.
Like, it's beautiful. And then the unknown Superman cuts the bandages off, and we find out, as we revealed earlier, it's a future version of Clark. Didn't want to, cause an anomaly. And another future one comes with an indestructible rose to lay at the grave. That's
and that last page of that issue is very the first time I read that last page got to me.
Those last 8 pages are just heartbreaking, like completely heartbreaking. And again, like, this is where I go, like, if you can't appreciate Frank quietly after reading this, I don't know what you're looking for in your art. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. His art can be striking, but when you look at it, when you look at his work and see what he does, like when you look at his work up close, like you study those panels and you study those pages and how he designs a page and how he makes these pages move and how this panel connects to the other one in a flawless manner and you don't get lost. And it's like, it's you start seeing past the striking features of his characters and you start to see how good he is with his anatomy. He's like his anatomy in movement is he should write a book on how to draw anatomy in movement. You know, that's I would read that book 1,000 times, you know, because he's really good at doing that dynamic figure drawing and make you believe that. But every time and subtle details like when Clark in this next issue when the Bizarros are attacking the Earth and he just flies off after giving Louis his Christmas card and he just flies off. You know how her hair reacts to the fact that he's flying off. You know how things around are affected by Clark's powers. You know, but Superman's just being Superman. And those subtle details, we don't get to see those very well lately. You know, we are in the past, I would say 10 years, we have gotten to the comic industry has gotten to the point where they have to produce so many books at the same time and throughout the so many books that the quality of some books are lacking, especially in the art department. There's my biggest pet peeve with Marvel right now is that a lot of artists in Marvel, they all look the same. Like there's a lot of artists that you cannot distinguish one from the other because they have, and that's on purpose, you know, that's on purpose. And there's a lot of DC books that I read that the artwork was just lacking, you know, that you can tell that they did a book in a hurry, and it's super easy to spot those things when you see one panel that is super pixelated next to the others. You know that something was cropped and enlarged for that panel, and it wasn't a good job. You know,
I've been saying that for 2 years about Marvel, that there's like this weird house style now that's very loose to make sure that they can hit their deadlines, and I think it's more artists, the more refined artists now are just going, well, I'm just gonna fucking do covers because I can make a lot more money doing that. Like J. Scott Campbell doesn't even do interiors anymore. He does nothing but
covers.
Yeah. I think one artist that I kind of hope we see more of for DC, and I kind of hope that they get more big stuff, is the guy that did Deceased Unkillables, because he's got a very like quietly style art and it's very detailed. And you don't see a lot like it at the moment. So I can't remember what he's called. Carl, that guy.
Carl Mostert.
Yeah. I think he is from India, potentially. Anyway, I saw an interview with him as well, and he said that he was shitting his pants the whole time he was drawing this book because he was taking so long to do it all. So,
I mean, there's guys like Gary Frank who, as he got older, his art got so much better and more detailed, but he takes forever to draw, but I appreciate it. Jamal Campbell from Naomi and Far Sector, his art for me, if he's not the next superstar artist, I don't know who is at this point. Like he's just so fucking...
You know that Venom tattoo that I did the other day, that it's Venom with it, that's a Jamal Campbell drawing.
Really?
Yeah, it's based on an Eric Larson.
Eric Larson years ago,
but it's a Jamal Campbell variant from Avengers 6 something.
Wow, I did not know that, but yeah, Jamal Campbell, like his art on Naomi, like, and also I would have to credit the colorist he has, just makes his art come to life and pop.
Yes, I'm saying bye to Carlito that's going to watch How to Train Your Dragon for the first time. It's a good movie, Carlito. Enjoy it.
You'll start drawing Tenet into it. Don't. You've watched that movie way too many times. It was great doing the stream with you last night, talking movies. Yes, so the next it's all Bizarros for this next issue. Like just the crazy world, and there is the weird what was it, Barrazzo or whatever, where it's a Superman Bizarro, but he's a smart one. Zabaro.
Cibaro. What I like, one of the things I like about that issue is at the beginning, he's setting the Sun Eater back into space, you know, and the Sun Eater's like caressing his head, like when you rescue an animal, you nurse it back to health, and then you just let it go into the wild. But it's a Sun Eater, you know, and the thing is caressing him, and he's like, you know, they're saying their goodbyes. and that sequence of panels, those 2 pages that has no words, it's again a brilliant example of how great
the humanity of Superman 2 were.
Yes. That
Jen Bartel, I will speak for V here. I would love more Jen Bartel.
Sorry, my daughter came in and she was trying to steal my Sour Patch Kids. That's why I had my mic muted. I'm really excited to see what she does in the Wonder Woman title, Abby, which I know you're excited about as well.
And that's Becky Cloonan writing it with her partner. So
haven't heard of her.
What's that?
A writer or an artist?
Jen Bartel's an artist.
Yeah. I'm gonna look her up.
Because I really liked, I know a lot of people complained about sometimes like the art lining up with the dialogue for Blackbird, but I did really like it. So
Becky Cloonan, like if she works on anything, I buy it. I love her. And weird fact, she is the first female to ever do art on a Batman book, on the main title ever.
That's awesome, right? It only took 80 years.
Yes, yeah, like it's sad actually. It really is sad that it's
I mean, it's awesome that she got to do it, but at the same time, it's like, man, 80 years? Are you kidding me? You're telling me that in 80 years there hasn't been one single female comic book artist that could have drawn at least one issue of Batman? Come on.
You're a female writer to get a crack at it, and that was Devin Grayson. Like
it just was such a boys' club. Hey, I'm sure that you can attest to this, Gambit.
I mean, I feel like Ramona Fradon was the only woman back in the early days. Like I watched an interview with her where they had a bullpen with all the artists, and like, she was like the one woman in there, and she just hung out in the back. Yes. So this issue with the 2 issues of Bizarros, like the Bizarro world that's a square and it's sinking back into the sun, and just. Again, it's that Grant Morrison weirdness of like, I have this Bizarro story and I really want to dig into the humanity of Bizarros.
Dude, I thought it was a little bit weird that I thought it was weird that the Bizarros were contagious.
Yes.
But again, it's Morrison, so yeah, I'll take it. I wonder how difficult was it for him to write Bizarro. Because it was really hard to read Bizarro. Like reading him,
it was really hard.
It's very like, much. oh my God! It was so hard to read it. At some point, I had to close the book. Like, okay, let me take a deep breath and let me try this again, because I just got.
Yeah.
I also
and it was interesting. No, you go, Dan.
I need to give a shout out to, because we sometimes forget other people who work on this book. The inker and colorist Jamie Grant, brought Quietly's art to life. Like it is colored superbly. Like it's bright, it's colorful. Like you'd want a Superman book to be. Weird, Superman with colors and not monochromatic. It's nice.
What?
That's what I like about Superman for All Season. How bright and colorful that book is.
What did you guys think of the Superman stuff that's gross solicited in the new DC Connect? Because that looks really bright and colorful. At least
I haven't looked at a ton of it right now. I didn't get the DC Connect yet, so I need to take a look at it.
The guy that runs my comic store sent it to me, and he was like, "Tell me what you think. I have thoughts." I was like, "Okay."
Honestly, I haven't read anything DC in a few months. Well, no, Strange Adventures and the Dark Multiverse one shots. Which now that I mentioned the Dark Multiverse one shots, that is a great format to release books.
What ifs?
It's like what ifs, it's just one shot. So if I have to wait an extra month for a good book, it's a little bit oversized. It has double page count. If I have to wait a little bit more for books like that, I will be more into that than monthlies right now. I feel like monthlies is a thing that it needs to change. The industry needs to change, but that's not what we're here today. I haven't read any of the new DC stuff. Nothing of this. I'm gonna wait until the event, the future state thing is over,
Next
and
week, I think it starts.
and get trades, because they say that this is the future of DC, but we all know it's gonna be a 2-month event, like Future Shock with Brian. Was it Future Shock the name? The Azzarello one?
Convergence or Future. Well, Future State's the one starting. Convergence was the one year ago.
A few,
Do you mean Infinite Frontier?
No. A few years ago, Brian Azzarello did a Future something. It was during the New 52, like the second year of New 52. They did.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was called.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and that was supposed to be like the next thing, and it turns out it was just a 2-month event. And this is what's going to happen with this. Like this is the new DC, and they test it, and whatever
titles
works,
will stick, probably.
The what?
2 titles will stick. I think the new Wonder Woman will stick.
Yes, I that, because that's what it is. They throw this out, they see what sticks, and then they use what worked from that, and they put it on their new monthlies. And we're gonna see some of these characters are going to stay. We're gonna see more of these characters, but we all know that this is just an event, and then we're gonna go back to the regular DC status quo, and it's gonna be more of what we've been getting. I haven't, like I said, I haven't read any DC in mainstream DC in a while. No Superman or Batman in a while, So I'm not that caught up. But I'll probably wait until the end of the event and get a trade and read it.
I'll probably put out a big trade of like all of them in one shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Something I love at the end of this issue when Superman is leaving the Bizarro world, their farewell. I'm gonna bring in my regular life. Hello and bad riddance.
Man, when I was a credit controller, I wish that I was able to say that to all the people that cussed me out about not paying their bills. I'd be like, hello, good riddance. That would have been great. Made my life so much better. So
the next issue is with the Kryptonians that came back to Earth while he was gone. And want to make new Krypton. And the facial gestures that he has for these 2 characters of how like stern and just pissed off they look. And then they turn into this weird love story between them at the end. And showing again, like Superman's just too good for his own good, where he's just like, oh, I'm going to help you. Yeah. Even though you've been complete assholes.
Yes. It just shows, I think it's just that you compare the difference between the arrogance of a Kryptonian that has never, was raised on Krypton, it's the ultimate arrogant couple, it's like they are the most powerful people in this world at that moment. There's no one to challenge them yet. And they already thought they were hot shit before they got here and they became hot shit, They already thought they were bigger than life. And then they come here and they get all these powers, and it's like,
Okay. And then they're looking down on Clark going, oh, a scientist, son. Dreamers.
Exactly, And it's just another, like you mentioned with the Sun Eater thing. It's just another example of Clark's humanity. How human he is, although he's a complete alien. A complete alien. He's just an alien.
They also have the love scene between the 2. They're on fire. He's like, Lilo, when did your eyes become green? They seem more dazzling than ever. I'm just like, all right, that's a weird like aside to throw in there, but okay.
We got to be Grant Morrison without it, though, would it?
No.
Extra weird.
It's just sprinkling. Actually, Jen would have corrected me there because he's now non-binary, and I didn't say they.
Oh, sorry.
So, that's right.
I've been overusing Grant to make up for, because in my head saying they for some sentences is bad grammar in my head as like going back. So I'm trying to fix it. I'm self-correcting, Jen, if you're watching, just so you know.
Give you props. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Jen today.
She hurt her back fixing her shelves.
Oh, yeah. I can see that happening.
I've done it. We miss you, Jen, because I'm sure you would have had some interesting takes on some of the things here.
Yes.
Yes, and here's the thing. They're like, oh, I remember Jor-El, a young and ineffectual dreamer. son follows the father. They're just like, you fucking pricks. Like, his dad's dead. Both dads are dead at this point.
And these dudes come in to bully him.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing. Assholes. And he still helped them.
Very much. Although it's sweet because they get like poisoning, like their blood became kryptonite somehow. So Clark sends them to the Phantom Zone. And they're holding hands because they're going to be together again. They'd gone blind by this point. And they started to appreciate him. And the minute they get in the Phantom Zone, that cockiness is like overcome. Like
of course.
Like, well, there'll be policemen there and there'll be some order over there.
They're not weak anymore. And we have to mention that while he was fighting them, they cracked the moon.
Yes. Yes, they did crack the moon, and then they took the Golden Gate Bridge
so hard into the moon that it cracked that he has.
They put the Golden Gate Bridge there to heal the moon. To like
a staple.
Together. Yes.
Like they stapled the moon together, you know?
There's also like weird Jimmy Olsen thing is like, well, I've adopted Kryptonian culture. I'm wearing their clothes. What do you think of these shorts and this belt? And the shorts are like up to his chest almost.
Yeah.
And like over his baggy cargo pants.
Yes. It's a choice.
It's a fashion statement. He's doing, Jimmy Olsen.
Clark's doing clumsiness. He gets his butt lit on fire by the sports guy, and then like kind of casually lights the guy's toupee on fire.
Right. I think that's another panel where you can see quite this masterful storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have the cockiness of the two when they get to the Phantom Zone.
Yeah. It's such a funny contrast from like them here, where they're like, oh, to them in the Phantom Zone again and being assholes.
The next issue we dive into now, going into the Kandor, the Bottle City.
Yes. Before we get there, I want to mention something about the issue before, and talking about Superman's humanity and all that. It reminded me of a post. I think it was was it Method Man that said it the other day? I don't think it was Method Man. Anyway, someone from the I have the article somewhere said that comics help him with his discover a moral guide that he didn't a moral compass that he didn't know he had, and how comics, help him, being from the streets and all that, how comics help him, learn to do the right thing. And I can relate to that, because growing up, this is what I had to keep me occupied. It was comic books, that didn't have that father figure or positive role models of a father figure there to help me guide. So I dive into what I had that I knew was going to keep my mind off of everything else, which was whatever comics I could get my hands on, and this book, this issue, that issue where even though those two Kryptonians were assholes to him, he wasn't not only excited to meet them because he was meeting, like, oh shit, it's you two guys. Wow, how awesome. Like he's meeting his two favorite comic book artists, It turns out that they were Rob Liefeld and I don't know which other one, and they were assholes to him. But still at the end, when they were in need, he did the right thing. He you're in need, you're sick, I can help you, and I will help you. Although you almost killed me a few panels ago, I will, do the right thing. And I think, and I feel like it's important to mention that, because we sometimes miss that from comic books. We sometimes miss those things. We get caught up in the flashiness of the color, the fights, the science fiction of it, and we sometimes miss those small details that are so important. And I just wanted to mention that. That's all.
I was thinking this before when we were talking about something else. I think it's interesting that, you know, like Grant Morrison wrote this, and he was probably after Dan, you know, said that he had a conversation with a cosplayer, and he wrote the story, and it's like zany and it's fun and the art is bright. And he just like wrote it obviously because it's what he wanted to write and he was inspired to write it. But then you have other like writer-artist combos that go and they want to write something that is their legacy piece and completely miss the mark. And it's like too dark, or it is not heartwarming, or it's like missing the like fun, you know, like zany elements that this book is. And it's sort of an interesting comparison that this kind of becomes like a classic out of continuity Superman story, and stuff that someone has written purposefully to be, you know, like a outstanding piece kind of just falls to the wayside, I guess, because they missed that element.
Grant Morrison did interviews with Kevin Smith on his Fat Man on Batman podcast. And in it, when he was doing Batman, he's like, I wanted to embrace everything everyone wanted swept under the rug. Like stuff that just no one wanted to talk about anymore. I wanted to bring to the light again. And that's his thing. He's like, all the things that everybody was afraid to touch, I wanted to like try to make cool again, or at least remind people that it's there.
And he did, and he does that. You know, it takes a lot of talent to pull that off. You know, to read the Batman of N. San Nude or something, whatever it's called. Yeah, that colorful one, and be like, shit, I dig that. I like what he did there.
Also, I did notice by this issue, there's a little bit of the male gaze in the art starting, because I noticed Lois Lane's dresses seem to get shorter and shorter and keep accentuating her ass the way it's drawn.
Really?
Also, her complexion's very dark drawn in this, and I don't know if it's like to show her being very tan.
Yeah, like just here, right? It's kind of like suddenly it's very short.
And I don't know if it's just like we need to like make sure that she's hot.
I didn't notice that until now that you mentioned it. I didn't notice how short her dress is.
It got shorter from the time she got superpowers, and I don't know why it caught my eye this read, but I was like, they're showing her ass a lot, and I don't know like what's the deal. But there is a page in this that, again, just showing the morality of Superman with the girl about to kill herself. And he pops up behind her and he's like, your doctor really did get held up, Reagan. It's never as bad as it seems. You're much stronger than you think you are. Trust me. And he hugs her.
Dude. Yes, that one got me.
It's beautiful.
Seeing it again, it got me again.
And that Superman, like, he cares for everyone, and just, you know, she dropped her phone, she's ready to go, and he's hearing, you know, this doctor go, listen, I'll be there, and him saying, listen, your doctor does care, he couldn't be here. It's, I hate to use a gen term, it's precious. It is like, it's just, but that's Superman. Like, this is getting to the heart of Superman. Like,
that is what Superman is, you know. That is
dying, and he still is out there, like caring for these people who don't even know him. He doesn't know.
It's like the whole point, right?
It's a love letter. It's literally a love letter to Superman.
Yes, I agree. Especially that Silver Age Superman, which I'm pretty sure is what he grew up with. You know, I'm pretty sure that was the Superman he grew up with.
And I love this part where he visits Lex in jail. He's like, listen, you have 3 weeks before they execute you. I challenge you, do the best you can for mankind in those 3 weeks. And Lex spits on the screen of glass.
Lex being Lex.
Yes.
It's a shit.
And again, though, like, he's basically like, oh, fuck you, alien. You're coming to challenge me? I'm still superior to you in every way, and I'll show you.
So, to see if I got this right, he creates a galaxy in the Fortress of Solitude. Like, not a galaxy. He creates a whole universe. He has a whole universe in form of a square. And it says Earth Cube. Is it in this issue that we see it? There's yes. At the end of this issue, we see again that universe, that is square that he has on the galaxy, and then it cuts to a panel to a building that looks, I assume that's like New York or something, and then it's a panel of an old drawing of Superman, like 1938.
It's the original
Jerry Siegel Superman, right? And then he said this is going to change everything. So basically, they're showing you in this universe that in that universe that's where Earth is, where we get Superman comic books, and I thought that was super cool.
And he has the telepathic thing where it's like doing his biography, basically, like reading his thoughts.
Yeah. And he's writing his memoir.
The next episode, we have Lex getting the chair.
Yeah.
And he's like, I could have cured your sister's cancer. Ha ha ha.
He's such an asshole.
He is. And now he's got, oh yeah, that cocktail guide. Yeah, I was making superpower drink.
You know what I like about that? That he said, this is only I could make this serum and give myself superpowers. And you're like, no, Superman did it before you, like 6 issues ago.
But he 100% is like the poster child for hubris. Because only he thinks that he can do all these things, not realizing that Superman's father was a scientist. Superman can learn things. Like, when he makes that comment, he's like, yeah, it's like 8 billion lines of like genetic code. It's really hard to remember even where I'm at right now.
Also, I like how he goes, and that'll be Mr. Luthor to you.
Yeah, Mr. Luthor. Because he's really arrogant.
Cleaning the sun's cage.
I like I like this version of Luthor. You know, there's no redeeming qualities for him. You know, there's nothing that you could say, man, but nothing at all in this version of Luthor that you can say that maybe, it's not like the Smallville Luthor that you love him and you hate him and you love him and you hate him and you love him and you hate him. This one you hate.
Yeah.
Nothing good, nothing redeemable about this version of Luthor. And I like that because I am one that thinks that Luthor has nothing good, but that, like if Superman didn't exist, he would be a trillionaire dude that would do anything in his power to get what he wants, no matter how much damage he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That if he needs to, I'm going to build a building here, and I don't care that I have to, I'm going to demolish this whole complex here. Oh, there's people in there. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like,
as long as people are talking about you, who cares? Attitude, kind of like, I'll be remembered one way or another.
And I feel like although it's cool to sometimes see a Luthor, like the new version of the version of him that he was part of the Justice League, it was pretty cool to see that version of him. And I rooted for that version of Luthor too. I was like, come on, man, Superman, you should trust him. He's actually proving himself. But at the end of the day, that was just a version of him. I feel like Luthor is just evil. That no matter what, Luthor is just a bad person. And I feel like Grant Morrison portrayed Luthor that way perfectly.
Even like in the panel where like he goes down to his cave where his niece is, and she's basically Paris Hilton. She's like, yeah, obviously I'm in an authentic Luthor's lair. I'm not gonna say which one, At least Uncle Lexi takes my world domination plan seriously. Anyway, that sounds like, and then he knocks the door down. It's like, I couldn't help it. Like, I had to do it. I got powers.
I feel like that's a homage to when Superman, in the Superman movie, he goes into the underground lair of Luthor, and he just pushes the door open. Christopher Lee Reeves opens the door by just pushing it like it's like, bam, And I feel like that panel, that sequence, is like a homage to that Superman movie.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, how's your mom?" She's like, "Pissed at you." He goes, "Oh, great, awesome. I got powers, by the way." He gives her that weird like laser helmet, and then we see the red sun Solaris, that is his secret partner this whole time. And Superman's got a suit, and he's going to fight this red sun with his robot army.
Okay, so that interaction with him and the robots when he goes when he's about to leave, and one of the robots says, I'll stay I'll stay here while the other ones go with you." Like one of the robots decides to stay back just to keep things in order in the house of hell. Let me I'll keep, but he knows he's saying goodbye to Clark. And Clark knows that he's leaving, and that's it. And he goes like, and he sees, I couldn't ask for greater loyalty, for, and he just closes the door and he says, "Seal the fortress," and he just flies away with all the other robots, and you see the one robot just walking back alone. And all I can think of is that after that page, all I can think of is that robot just walking down the fortress, watering the plants, feeding the weird animals at the zoo.
It's basically
making a little sun for the sun eater.
Yes, while they're all asleep.
Cleaning things around the fortress, and that's his whole existence from now on. So it's just maintaining the fortress in top shape,
And then Clark getting upset about the Sun Eater.
You saying that Gambit reminds me of the robot that's like left behind in Wonder Woman Dead Earth, and he's just like sitting there waiting, like biding his time. Like, yeah, that's 100% what it reminds me of. Probably inspired by
Superman getting upset because the Sun Eater blows up after like extinguishing at least the sun part of Solaris, and he's just punching the shit like, "You killed him!" No,
I mean, he killed his pet, man.
He freed. He's like, "Why didn't you go away? Like, why are you here?
Who sent you, man?"
And then, like, he has that moment. He's like, "By the 24th century, I'm told you'll have been rehabilitated to work with humanity instead of against them. Rehab begins here, Solaris. There's a way to everyone's heart, and I can see yours." And he's screaming mercy. He's like, "You'll live." And then punches.
Right. You know what I like about those panels with Solaris is that when he's talking, you can see the 11001, and I feel like the sun is talking, and suddenly he sounds like a dial-up internet, like that weird noise when you were trying to connect to the internet in the late 90s, early 2000. Yeah.
Or like when your mom's like doing her freaking emails, and you went to pick up the phone, and it's like in your ear.
Exactly that noise.
And there's this weird like thing where Jimmy Olsen's like, "Hey, you stop. I mean, you're quite frankly stunning. Face all over the front page of Daily Planet. What do you say?" And she's like, "Print medium is so passé in so many ways, but it's also still pretty cool in so many other ways. Get my good side." And it's just like, wow, like that's where the Paris Hilton thing. I mean, she's like, "Yes, I'll stop. Just make sure, like, got my good side, and I'm gonna be on the front page, and we're gonna be all good."
And then, I like how she says, "I'll find your house and disintegrate you and
your family and your pets." And then Clark runs in with the laptop that says Superman's dead and just basically drops dead.
Yep. I love that. After he punched Solaris, he just disappears, and you assume like, oh, this is it. This is how he died. But no, what he did was just run. He knew he was going to die. He just runs, and he wants one last thing for Clark Kent, do one last thing as Clark Kent.
And then he has the existential thing in the next episode with his dad at the beginning of like, so you can either die or you can have your one last gasp. So he chooses to have the one last gasp.
Yes, that was a weird issue though.
Yes.
Like that interaction with his dad, at first I was like, wait, what? Even rereading it, I totally forgot about that, I was like, wait, what? That was pretty weird, but it was really cool. So I'm okay.
You have the showdown, and like he's like, "Oh, the gravity gun, it sped up the 24 hours of your powers." So when Lex is kind of free, I was like, "I see everything, I hear everything. This is what it's like to be him."
Yes, I like that he has a break. He breaks down, I like that he breaks down when he finally, you're like, oh shit, like it's too much for a human being to handle, even someone of Lex intellectual capacity, it's still too much to handle.
And then this last thing with Lois and Superman, when she's like, "Oh, your poor face, Superman." And he's like, if you hadn't fatally overdosed me with sunlight, I wouldn't have had the power to attempt that final feat. No one but me can repair the sun, Lois. My cells are converting to pure energy, pure information. I only have moments to save the world. They kiss. And that's more than you ever needed. He goes, I love you, Lois Lane, till the end of time, and then just flies off. And she goes, I love you, Superman. And he's gone, and then it's just her sitting on the bench.
And he restarts. He's gone, and he restarts the sun. We cannot not mention that small detail of the story. Yeah. He restarts the sun,
And was it God, I can't remember the scientist who he gave all the genetic information to.
Quinton,
yes. He's like, I weren't worried too much. Now it's done. I'm sure we'll think of something. It's Project Superman, and they're cloning.
Well, it's not. Well, it's a backward S. It's a 2 actually, not even an S. It's a 2. So,
and I'd be remiss without pointing out the back-to-back sketches of Superman versus Clark that was in the back of how he draws them with the slumped shoulders and the neck down.
I don't have that because this is a really old copy.
It was just interesting the way you see the detail of it.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yes. This is what I was talking about. How he
that's so
managed to make the same person look like 2 different people. Like he's so good at that. And it has some other sketches, transitions from Clark Kent to Superman. That let me see if you can appreciate them there. I don't know, I can't see right now, but
let me blow up your
this way.
Shit.
Can you see it there?
Hey! Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's so cool.
So this is one of the reasons I love Quietly's work so much. Like he's just amazing.
Underappreciated in my opinion. So we're at that part of the show. What would you rate it out of 10? Or would you recommend it?
Me?
Just everybody. We'll start with V.
100%. I would recommend it, especially for people that haven't read anything in continuity, but they still want to pick up Superman. Like people like me that watched Smallville when they were growing up and that sort of thing and haven't read a lot of Silver Age, if any. This is the perfect book, I think, for people like that. So I'd probably say, I usually do ratings out of 5, but I guess I'd say like 8 or like 4 out of 5. So maybe like 8.5 out of 10, I think.
Fair enough. Gambit?
Yeah.
Me? It's one of my favorite books still after rereading it again today. Not today. I've actually read it on time this time. After rereading it a second time, it's still one of my favorites. It still reads well. It's still a great story. It has great art, and it's like we said, it's a book that you can read without the weight of 80 years of stories before or whatever comes next. It's a very good standalone book that it's beautiful to look at, beautiful to read. So yeah, I would recommend it. When a few shows back, I said that now one of the things that I would use to rate my books is, will I keep it or wouldn't I, or would I put it on my donation pile? So this is a book that not only would I keep, I have the single issues too. I have more than one copy of it, and I would recommend the book, and I would give it easily a 9 out of 10. I think 10 out of 10 is perfection, and it's really rare to get that. But that book is very close to a really good to the perfect Superman story.
For me, if someone wanted to say like, what is Superman to you? This or Superman for All Seasons would be the two books I would give to somebody and say, this is the soul of Superman. This one in particular really dives into the silliness of the 60s and 70s of Superman and the cosmic like shenanigans.
Yes.
You got himbos, you've got a heartbreaking story with his father. You have the love story. Quietly's art, the way he portrays Clark and Superman almost as two different people, the way that they're done. And as Gore was saying in chat, this is one of his most straightforward stories. Yes, Grant's memoir, Super Gods, is fantastic.
Say hi to HK Wifey 420. I don't know who she is or he is.
That's Gina. That's my friend. She's amazing. She's probably the most supportive person ever. So she's great.
This to me is a must-own for your collection. There's certain staples I think that people should have in their collection. Like I know everybody says Watchmen. Like I would say The Long Halloween for me is one that you should have in your collection.
Yes.
Dark Knight Returns. Infinity Gauntlet from Marvel is one that I think. Crisis on Infinite Earths. This to me is a staple, and if you don't know about Superman, I think this is one that'll get you to the heart of it, and it has just enough silliness for you.
Yes.
I could go on and on about Frank Quitely's art and how him and Grant Morrison just seem to be a perfect team.
Right?
And I'm big on like, as V would say, you vibe on stuff. And the two of these seem to have like a synergy vibe for each other, that they kind of know what the other one wants out of the story. It's a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Oh, nice.
I truly love this story, and my passion was reignited in it after not reading it for a long time. And then, like Gambit, I had the single issues. I was like, you know what? I need a trade. I don't want to reopen them. I don't want to dig for them out of my long boxes because I don't want to hurt my back like Jen. It'll happen. It'll happen because I have a lot of long boxes. It's a death trap in my storage closet.
I changed to short boxes. Now everything's. I'm changing everything to short boxes. I hate that I have to break series into short boxes, but when I have to move them, it's so easily because I'm getting older and moving long boxes is not as fun as it was when I was 18.
I have a second floor, so it's even harder because I have all my stuff upstairs. It's also, if you're interested in something that has not really a feel-good story, but it's Morrison and Quitely, check out, or no, it's not Morrison, it's Mark Miller and Frank Quitely, and that is Jupiter's Circle, Jupiter's Legacy.
Yes.
Fantastic series. It does have that Mark Miller kind of nuttiness to it, where like hyper violent, but again, the art kind of works with the writing very well, and it eventually has like a feel good moment to it, but it's dark. It's real dark.
Yeah,
but
you know what I like about Miller's hyper violence is that it's never gratuitous. Well, how do you say that?
Gratuitous.
Yes, thank you. It's never like that. When it happens the way it happens because the story goes that way. You know, it actually accentuates or helps the characters of the story. He doesn't give you a violent thing just to give you a violent thing. And
it hinges on absurdity a lot, like where it's just you can't take it serious. It's not like hyper realistic.
Yeah. I like his work a lot, so I might be biased.
So if you like this book, a book that I would totally recommend, besides Jupiter's Circle, Superman for All Seasons, if you are looking for a Superman book to read, or if you really want to get to like some like heart and emotion, of course, Saga is one that like has nothing to do with superheroes, but it has emotional moments that will eventually sucker punch you.
It will destroy you.
V, any books that after reading this you would recommend? Could be literary. If you choose.
I Actually, should have thought about this beforehand.
If I were a good host, I would have said it beforehand too, but I'm not.
Actually, well, I don't, but I do think that I would like to see Tom Taylor do a Superman like out of continuity story like this, because he can write really zany, funny, heartwarming stuff.
He did a Spider-Man issue that broke my heart with the kid with cancer he took with him on an adventure.
Yeah, that was great. That whole little Spider-Man run was so fun.
Yeah.
So I would love to see, and the Deadshot issue of Suicide Squad with Batman and the dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to see him do any kind of Superman story, I think. So also I guess any Tom Taylor maybe, if you like this and you're looking for more stuff like that.
Gambit?
I'm a hoe for Tom Taylor.
Me? What would I recommend?
Yeah.
I mean, Superman for All Seasons is another book that I would recommend if you're looking for Superman books to read. That one is something that I would recommend in a heartbeat. Another superhero book that I would recommend too is Justice League International. That first volume it's a fun book to read, you know, and I feel like it's not as weird as a Grant Morrison book, you know. But it's a fun read, you know. The Justice League International, it's a fun read. So that's something that I would recommend too. What is that? Let me see.
I thought of a book, like not a graphic novel, like a book. I think if you really like this, you should read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. It is a sci-fi, but the humor in this is so good. There's like a spaceship in here that has its own AI, and it's so sassy and it's such a raging asshole. So I think a lot of moments in here would appeal to people who like this. Yeah. By Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, it's really good on audio. So if you want to listen to the book while you're doing like other stuff or getting ready for work or chores or whatever, the audio book is really good. Yeah.
So Justice League, also Guy Gardner is the giantest asshole ever made in this as the Green Lantern of this. And so for years, the scene in this has gotten redone where Batman punches Guy Gardner out, and it's always like one punch. Blue Beetle and Booster Gold are incredible in this.
What Justice League one is that?
It's called Justice League: A New Beginning. It's Keith Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis, and Kevin McGuire. They also did a series called formerly known as Justice League, which is a comedy book, like completely 100%.
I wanna read that formerly known as the Justice League, but this one I got it.
Rude. Amazing.
Ooh. Yes.
Fancy.
It's one of my prized possessions. I met them at they were together at DragonCon last year. Actually, it was last year. It was the same year I met Kate Giffen is the creator of Lobo. So I went there to I only knew that he was going to be there, so I grabbed some books for him to sign, and then it turns out that DeMatteis was going to be there, and McGuire was going to be there. I was like, I started freaking out, getting to meet all of them, and I get starstruck, you know. Every time I go meet these writers, or artists, in my head, I have this conversation that I'm going to, you know, tell them is going to be so insightful that they're going to remember me for the rest of their life, you know. And then I get in front of them, I was like,
yeah.
You know, but you signed this for me, you know. It's like I'm 16 years old again, exactly like that. I'm pretty sure I freaked out Dan Jurgens once because I went to the table exactly like that. He just looked at me and just gave me the book, like, I was like, thank you. And then I started walking away, and I turned around. Can we take a picture? And he goes like, sure. I was just
sure, dude.
I was very cool in front of George Perez, but like there's some other guys I was not, like when I met Garth Ennis, I was not cool at all. Like
I never met Garth Ennis. When I met George, I was I was freaking out, because that one is for me was a very important figure, in the comic books that I read. Most of them were drawn by George Perez, So it was very, very, very. And Rebecca, my wife, knows him, and she's like, I'm going to introduce you to someone. And we were at Dragon Con, and suddenly there he was taking pictures with a bunch of Wonder Woman at the convention. I was like, and and he goes and he sees me and he gives me a kiss and he gives me a hug, and I didn't know what to do with myself. Like,
I had the awkward thing where I had a commission from another artist from Artist Alley of Donna Troy Wonder Girl, and he's like, "Who did that?" I was like, "Oh, this guy Jamie." And Artist Alley goes, "Go get him." I was like, "What?" He goes,
"That's awesome.
Go get him." I was like, "Really?" He's
yeah.
Like, I went over there, and it's like the end of the con. I was like, "Hey, George Perez asked me to go get you." He goes, "Listen, I'm really not in the mood." I was like, "No, George Perez asked me to come get you because he liked your commission." He goes, "What?" I'm like, "I know."
I would react the same way. Like, get out of here.
So I went over there, and then George is like, "Hey, I really like what you did." Like, and you can see this artist's face just draining. Like, he's turning pale because like his hero is giving him art tips, and he's like, "I really like what you did," and he's just like. And I'm just like, I'm gonna walk away before I cry because I can't deal with it.
Dude, he's such a sweetheart. I one day I wanted to show him a page that I did, right? Some pages that I did. I just wanted to show it to him. I was really proud of those pages. And he sat down and he critiqued my portfolio in a few minutes. He gave me so many inputs, and I was like, wow. And then a few minutes later, someone says, "Did he just critique your portfolio?" And I said, "Yeah. He just went through some pages and gave me some pointers. Like, he doesn't do that with anyone." I was like, it's like, that's the highlight of my career right there.
I've had some experiences with a Top Cow artist that was not good at all.
Shit!
Like, it will forever be in my head. It was so fucking negative.
Oh, damn! Was that Neil Adams?
No, Top Cow. It was
Top Cow. Okay, so I missed that part. Sorry.
Somebody that worked on a book about a holy warrior, Magdalena, back then, and worked on the Darkness a bit and Weapon Zero.
Joe Benitez?
Yep.
Was he what?
Yeah, he was just insanely like not nice and drunk.
Really? Oh shit!
Apparently, he gets rip-roaring drunk at shows, and because he can't stand being around people, but he wants to make money at the same time.
Yeah, it's a.
Like, it was bad enough that Michael Turner at the table like turned and was like, "Dude, stop."
Wow.
Rough.
Not spent a dime.
I've never had that experience like that.
I saw Neil Adams hit up a kid for money. That was weird. Like, a kid went up there. He's like, "You signed my Batman book," and he's like, $50. And he's like, "What?" And then he thought the kid's dad sent him up there to get it.
I mean, I get it. I get it. So that's.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird. He's like, "Oh no, you're not leaving this table till I get my money." I was like,
Uh-oh.
Damn.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable to watch, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go.
But let's be honest, man. What are the chances that a little kid is gonna be walking around to Neil Adams with a Neil Adams comic book?
It wasn't Neil Adams comic. It was just a Batman book because he saw the Batman stuff at the table.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's different.
Yeah, it was like circumstantial shit.
Yeah, that's different. It's like the kid saw a Batman, and he's okay, so he draws Batman.
I've had better luck with writers. Like, Gail Simone's one that I've seen her at cons, and I didn't have the heart to go talk to her because I'd end up talking about something that I don't think would be comfortable.
She was, I've met her 2 times. I met her at DragonCon once. At MegaCon once. She was such a sweetheart. And then I got to host her panel at the Puerto Rico Comic Con, and she was so nice. And I got I feel weird saying these things because I don't want to make it sound like I'm bragging or something like that. But I got a nice compliment from her, and I think it's the reason I mention it's that I feel like it's important when someone you admire gives you a nice compliment. You know, it helps. That's why when a kid comes to my table, I always and they ask for my advice or anything like that, I try to be as nice as possible to them as I can, because that can make a huge difference, you know.
You also got the Jason Momoa drawing you did of him too, so
you know, and so I don't know. I just feel like sometimes you have the potential to change someone's life for the better somehow, you know, and you shouldn't be an asshole, you know.
There's no point there.
Especially if you have kids that admire your work, you know, it's like you shouldn't be an asshole, period. But especially to kids, you know,
because I mean that they're your next wave of fans.
Yeah, not only your next wave of fans. I don't remember what I was reading the other day, that he was telling the story of the day that he met Simonson doing the Toro Bendis. It was the book Words for Pictures. He was telling a story about I think it was him. He was telling a story about the day he met him. He was at a small convention with another artist that was really nice to him, and someone mentioned that Simonson was in the other place, and he just ran all the way over there, and he was so nice to him, and such a good experience that I think it was one of the reasons he decided to continue pursuing his career. Maybe that way.
Oh my God, Andy, it's classic you.
Oh, I've embarrassed myself. When I met Stan Lee, I had like a real stupid moment because I had my friend's Thing statue, and I will forever have this because I was like, could you write It's Clobbering Time? And his like keeper was like, no, he's gonna sign his name. He's not doing that. Stan like looked around, wrote it, and I'm walking away. And as I'm walking away, he goes, "Sit on, sinner." I'm like, the fuck did he do? And I looked and he wrote It's Clobbering Time and Stan Lee Excelsior. I was like, holy shit, I just had a moment with him.
That's pretty awesome.
And this was years and years ago. So we are hitting the hour and 45-minute mark, and I know, like I've kept telling Gambit, we'll keep to an hour and a half. We'll keep to an hour and a half. We're getting better about that. We're close-ish though, but I think it's important to talk about stories of our heroes. So thank you for pinch hitting, even though you weren't supposed to tonight. Jen, we missed you.
Yeah.
Oh, your pick, Gambit. What is your pick for next month?
Yes. Okay. So I had a little bit of difficulty because since my books are in storage, I was like, oh no, what do I pick? So I was a little bit limited from what I have here. But then I remember that I have a stack of books that I'm going to send to donation at some point. It was supposed to be at some point this year, and yours ends tomorrow. Anyways, so I was, do I get another DC book? What do I get? Anyway, so I found this one, and I think I've been wanting to read it for a while.
Scooby Apocalypse?
It's Scooby Apocalypse. The cover is by Jim Lee, by the way. It's written by Kate Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis, and drawn by Howard Porter. So, Kate Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis, it's the same people that were in this book, and they have written so many good things. I was like, I need to check that out. It's a hipster version. I like the hipster.
All right, this is totally off brand, and this is gonna be interesting. I'm in for it.
So yeah, let's. I don't know. I thought it was a good way to start the new year. With something that I think is going to be a fun book. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fun book. It's like I said, Kate Giffen, James DeMatteis, Howard Porter. At the same time that they were a little bit before they did this book, they did Justice League 3000. Like the same,
yeah.
The same team did Justice League 3000, which is very, very fun book, but it got canceled. Like so, they never finished it. In that Justice League 3000, you had Booster Gold and Blue Beetle in the year 3000, and it turns out that it was the Booster Gold and Blue Beetle from this series. You know, it wasn't a clone. It was these people. It was connected to this version of the characters. And I wanted to see more, but we didn't get it.
That's the Bandidio era. We threw shit at the wall, and some of it stuck, some didn't. Fuck it.
Some did it, and it's sad that one didn't, because that one was actually pretty fun. It was a really fun book, But yeah, so this is it. This is my pick for the next book. It's called Scooby Apocalypse. You didn't know about this book?
I knew about it, but I hadn't read it. Like,
Okay.
that and the Flintstones both came out at the same time, and I was just like, I don't even know what to think. And I'm like, I'm not spending my money on this. Well, apparently I am now.
The art is pretty cool. The art is pretty cool. I read like the first 2 issues, and I didn't continue reading it, not because I wasn't enjoying it. It was because of lack of time. I was reading way too many things at the same time, and I was starting to get caught up on. Backed up on my work. So I said, nah. That's when I cut down on a bunch of my reading for a while to try to catch up with my work. But I've been meaning to read it for a while. I got the trade as soon as it came out, and I've been meaning to read it for a while. I think this is the perfect opportunity.
So the shameless self-promotion time of the show. V just started her channel. You can find it. I will drop it in the profile below, the details, or you can find her at Read Across the Stars on Instagram, and her link tree with all of everything. Give her subscribe. She will be with Cinia Reads doing book sprints and reading the Diviner series coming up. Also, Cinia Reads, one of friends of the show. Wonderful person. Gambit has a YouTube channel they never upload stuff on, but you can find his art and his other tattoo work on at Gambit's Inc. Or if you want a commission, you can go to gambitsinc.com and get something from there. He used to update it, not so much lately.
It hasn't been updated in a while. But I have a lot of content. I just haven't had the time to sit down and write, and it's just, oh man, thank you for calling me out on that one, Dan.
Well, no, I went to the site the other day because she wanted to get a commission from you. I was like, boy, the last update was a long time ago.
Yes, but the last blog post was a long time ago, but it's the product part is updated regularly. That one is updated regularly.
Yes, you could order shirts from what was the site you're using?
It's on Redbubble.
Redbubble.
Yeah, but if you go to my gambitsync.com, you can find everything that you want there. You can find my weekly comics. When I was doing the weekly comics, This Is Us, Churchill. There's a lot of art in the gallery. There's a lot of products. There's a lot of my blog section has a bunch of really, really good articles. Not because I wrote them, but they're actually really good articles that you can check out, and they go from some of them are a little bit of on my political art, and some of them are about my comics, some of them about my career. So there's a lot of content in my website that will keep you entertained for a while, actually.
Jen and I will not have the weekly show on Friday because I needed a me week to take care of some stuff going on in my personal life. But we are, if her back is feeling better, going to be on John's Comics with Kids doing the wrap up for X of Swords or Ten of Swords, whatever you choose to call it. We're going to go over all 22 fucking issues.
It's going to be a long show.
He actually has like a format, so like it might actually go at a good pace instead of Jen and I fucking derailing each other constantly. Jen does have her Friday show with Hero and the Kid and Sunday with That Comic Girl. So that's Sunday mornings and Friday night. Links are on Jen's link tree at Comic Books Will Break Your Heart. Her show is on Comics Will Break Your Heart. Again, I have all the links and stuff. I even have it on my link tree on Instagram. So we'll have book club next month for Scooby Apocalypse. And I know Cinia wanted me on her channel to do sex criminals.
Hell yeah, that'll be fun.
It should be, and who else knows where I'll end up being? I have no clue. The Dune over season 2 for Dune Messiah will start at some point. We'll see if that whole crew will be back together or if we'll have rotating cast. You never know the way schedules and everything kind of roll out. Trying not to sound pessimistic, but you just never know.
Yeah.
Ooh, Predator.
I was sketching while I was doing the show today.
That's fair. Also, Andrew, comic books will break your heart. Not comic books break. Oh God, comic book campaign. Jesus, I've been saying Jen's site way too much. Comic book campaign. He just got all the Future State issues in for order. He has them actually in hand. So if you wanted to order them from him, he is a good friend of the show. He also won Gambit's sketch cover from.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's cool.
Book should be in his hands by the end of the week.
So it found a good home, and I'm always happy about that.
I messaged him about getting a CGC of that Dreaming Waking Hours #8 cover, and he's going to set it up for me for a really good price. So I'm really excited about that.
He's a great guy to work
really
with.
good about that. He's really good about that. Highly recommend him.
Yes,
he's so
he's
nice.
sold Gambit on Philadelphia #1 CGC for a price I don't ever want to repeat. But very, very nice guy to work with, and he has his mystery boxes now with CGC book in every one of them for $150 plus trade.
So amazing.
Deal. No,
Yes.
no.
Such a good deal.
So the grand prize in it is not one it's the first Bane. And he's also throwing in the signed Tom King Strange Adventures #1, which makes me not want to buy it.
Is Mars buying one?
Die on that hill. I will die on that. Oh no, it's too expensive. No.
Yeah, true.
It's $150 for those boxes. Like it you have to think about it twice before you like pull out that money. Like it just because even I'm like, how bad do I want? Like
the conversion rate for me is not that great, plus shipping to New Zealand. But I would totally do it if I was in the States.
That's right. I totally forgot that you're in New Zealand. That's super cool.
Yes, and everything's airmail. Everything.
Yeah, everything is Emma. I'm just about to spend a fucking ungodly amount to get a whole lot of stuff from my forwarding box sent over here. So
well, I had like Gambit's gift I had shipped from the Netherlands for Christmas. So
they made it here on time.
Yeah, it took a month and a half to get here, but it got here because I had to go to like Netherlands. Okay, like I got to order this now because I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen with this.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for watching, and catch us next time. And again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye, guys.